Good morning and welcome to today's continuing education. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Diana Hinkle, and this is my weekly education on using products for everyday use in your home and mostly using essential oils. And today I want to talk about the problem skin in our teenagers and some of us as an adult as well, and to give you some ideas of what you can do. And the specific system that I'm talking about today is called HD Clear skincare system by doTERRA. It is from doTERRA. So I have chosen doTERRA for some major reasons. One, they are very, very down to earth, and the integrity of the product is amazing because they are certified pure therapeutic grade. It's a standard of quality that they ensure every single time that they get a product. And even if it's a put together product with the essential oils, they're making sure that there's no contamination one way or the other. So I'm excited today to share with you this easy system if you have that teenager at home that has a problem with breakouts, because typically that's when it's going to happen. A lot of it is hormonal, but you really have to help identify the issue. And sometimes as we get into, especially women, into adulthood, we still have those breakouts. And so what can you do about that with something that's simple, fast acting, and cost effective? And that is truly what essential oils are. So for me, I have a dental background after 30 years, and I was introduced to essential oils, and I was blown away at what they could actually do for me. I was diagnosed at age 12 with scoliosis, and for me, being age 60 now, I do not take any medications, and I feel pretty good. In fact, I can outdo my husband, who's physically active every single day. So, and he's a couple of years younger than me. So everybody has their highlights, everybody has their limitations, but for me, I feel pretty darn good. And I really attribute a lot of that currently to what I do on a daily basis. I make sure that I sleep well. I have products that help me sleep well. I also have supplements from doTERRA that I utilize every day that really help in my overall wellness. Even toothpaste. I love their toothpaste. So let's talk about what an essential oil is and how it could be beneficial to you. So essential oils are plant-based material or oil. Essential oil comes from plant-based. It's the oil sacs in that product that we are actually distilling. Either it's a cold distillation or it's heat, and it has to be precise, because if it's not, then we don't get a really good product. So since they are extracts of plants, they're as much as 70 times more powerful than an herb. And that's super important, especially with doTERRA being such a pure product, that one drop goes a long way. So let's talk about peppermint. Everybody loves peppermint, most people. One drop of peppermint essential oil from doTERRA is equivalent to 28 cups of tea, which is incredible, right? And my nose itches. And so there's a wide range of uses for essential oils, everything from cosmetics to cooking. And you really have to know where your source of essential oil is coming from. Trust the person you're getting them from, because not all essential oils are created equal, just because it says 100% on the bottle, you really have to make sure that you are really doing your research, because the majority of essential oils on the market, like 95% of them, okay, are adulterated. What does that mean? They've added fillers to it, okay? Some of those fillers that they add are are chemicals that are toxic to you and your pets at home. So really keep that in mind. And plus, the other thing is that essential oils are usually the inspiration between pharmaceutical products as well. So knowing that essential oils come into, hi James, comes into, helps with that pharmaceutical world, but we're getting the purest source, okay? We're not getting a pharmaceutical synthetically made product. And that's why it works so well for us, because our body automatically knows what to do with a plant-based product. That's not like the puzzle of synthetic, where it goes, what is that? It's a foreign substance to them. And so the body has to decipher what it is. So if you're putting on something that is natural, the body naturally knows what to do with it, and we can have a quicker recovery. So when you're using essential oils, you can use them 3 ways. Aromatically, which is the fastest response. You can just pick up an oil and smell it, right? Because if you think about how many times you've been somewhere and you smell something that you like, and you're like, oh my gosh, it smells great, right? What about the times when you smell something and you don't like it? It's an instant reaction. It's the same way when you're smelling essential oils. Instant reaction, good or bad. And what you smell and think is wonderful, I can smell and think it's horrible, right? Because it reacts with our memory, for one, and it reacts to our chemistry. So even if I place something on me topically, which is the second use of essential oils, and it can change how it actually smells because it reacts to the chemistry of your body. Either way, aromatically or topically, it enters into the bloodstream within 30 seconds. Crazy, right? And every single cell has been affected or has been, the essential oils, I lost for words. The essential oil itself is actually something that can get into every single cell within that 30 minutes. And that itself is incredible, because, and it's a benefit to every cell, not a side effect to every cell. So essential oils, we don't get those side effects, right? But you still have to be cautious when you put something on topically, because you have to know if your skin is sensitive or not. If you have very sensitive skin, you would want to put it on the bottom of your feet, or put it in a capsule and take it internally, which is the third way of using essential oils. But always, again, trust the source of your essential oil. Make sure that you can use it internally. For doTERRA, it actually has a supplement fact on the bottle and tells you that you can add 1 drop in 4 fluid ounces of liquid. Okay, and that's any liquid, water, juice, tea, coffee, whatever. And so, or smoothie. So you really have to know where that source is coming from. So the Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, or CPTG, that doTERRA offers is an integrity of the product to ensure that we have the same product every single time that we purchase it. The only factor is Mother Nature, okay? So let's talk about the skin. So our skin is like the chimney. So when you have a fire, the smoke has to go somewhere, right? That's what a chimney is all about. So internally, anything that's going on inside our body comes out through our skin. It can look like a rash, it can be a fever, it can be a headache, it can be digestion problems, it could be all kinds of different things, right? Inflammation. And so those things cause problems, and usually the skin is a good way of understanding that there's something going on somewhere, right? And so our skin kind of acts like a sponge, right? Everyone knows what a sponge is like. When you place something on it, it soaks in, right? Well, that's what the skin does. And that's how the skin reacts. It is the largest organ of our entire body, and a lot of people don't realize that it is an organ. Okay, it's living and breathing because it's on us, right? So if you think about the daily toxins that we are exposed to, and by the way, women, on average, we are exposed to 168 chemicals a day. Men are exposed to about 85. That's because us women decide to get in there and put on makeup or other items. And so because of that, we are exposed to toxins a whole lot more than the men. Now, that can vary. That's variable because, especially nowadays, right? So what you put on your skin is very important because what you eat is who you are and what your skin will react to. So like, we're just getting out of wintertime, and I realized yesterday being outside all day, it's like, oh my gosh, my skin is super dry. It's because I haven't been drinking enough water. So my skin is not hydrated like it should be. And it's like, we forget how much water we're really supposed to be drinking. And you're supposed to drink half of your weight, take half of what you weigh, and divide it into ounces, and that's what you should be drinking every single day. Now, some of you are probably going, oh my gosh, I can't drink that much water every day. You don't, it's not something that you automatically start doing. You have to work your way up to it. It's kind of like exercising, you know? If you go out there and just go, oh, I'm going to do it all day, and then what happens tomorrow? You're totally exhausted, you're totally sore, and now you don't want to do that, right? Because you've overdone it. Well, it's the same with water. You have to slowly get yourself into it because you will create the habit of drinking that, and you will understand, and your body will be, wait, I need that. Where is it? It'll tell you. It's amazing what our body can do for us. So this is about the skin. So think about that, that the chimney, our skin is our chimney. Everything that happens internally can come through our skin and show us through our skin. And so it's really, really important to think about that. And plus, those 168 chemicals that, when it comes to women and with our chemical-based products for our skin, cosmetics, that you know that there are 13,000 chemicals that are used in makeup. Now, that doesn't mean that one makeup has 13,000 chemicals. It means that there are thousands of chemicals that are put in makeup, okay? And of those 13,000, only 10%, that's not very many, 10% are evaluated by the FDA for safety. And the only time that they do that is when there's something going on, there's adverse reactions, and then they start thinking about it, and then they start looking into the safety of that particular chemical. So if it's super harmful and it shows up, that's the only time the FDA is going to be involved. It's kind of like essential oils. The FDA does not regulate essential oils. And so the bottle can say whatever it wants, meaning that if the bottle says 100% pure, it does not mean that's all that you're getting. It means that somewhere in that bottle, there's a little bit of essential oil that's pure. That part is maybe 100%, but because of the standards of the FDA not regulating essential oils, it can still be a synthetic and still be told to you that it's pure. Well, that's not pure if it's synthetic, right? If it's been reproduced, but the FDA allows that. Because on a graft, if it mimics what the real thing does, even by 95% or 99%, they can call it an essential oil. That's wrong. So think about that every time you start looking at an essential oil, especially if you go somewhere and you see it like frankincense for $6.99. It's not frankincense. That's probably the last thing it is, right? Because frankincense is expensive. If you look at biblical times, frankincense and myrrh were the rich man's oil. If you smelled like frankincense and myrrh, you were someone of wealth. You weren't the commoner. So you really got to start thinking about those things. It's still a very expensive essential oil, okay? So really think about what you're doing. And because of all the chemicals, us women, we are prone to menopausal effects, or we experience menopause 2 to 4 years earlier because of all the chemical exposures that we have in our society today. And that's amazing to me. Yeah. And plus that same thing, the standard of FDA not being involved with or not regulating essential oils, the FDA doesn't regulate cosmetics only when there is some harmful side effects. Then they start launching a full investigation. So yeah, crazy, right? So let's talk about some of the things that happens to our children or teenagers, and they start having this, all this acne. First off, we want to think about the digestive. That's the number one thing, is what is the diet like? Are they out and eating a lot of processed foods like French fries, hamburgers, McDonald's? Not saying McDonald's in particular, but a lot of people go to McDonald's, they have a $1 hamburger, right? It's cheap meal, but really is it that cheap? If it doesn't help you and doesn't give you the nutrition that your body is needing, why would you want to utilize it? Because it's cheap food, right? And that's the only thing we're looking at, is we're thinking, oh, it's only $1. I can eat something really quick. I can fill myself up, and then I'm off going out the door some more, or going down the road. Really think about what you eat and how it affects your body. You really got to think about the grease that you're around, the carbohydrates that you're eating. You've got to eat more greens, eat more fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, because just that alone will, a lot of times, will create something totally amazing, and it'll clean everything up. Now, you do have those teenagers that don't want to wash their face. They don't want to do the regimen that they need to be doing to keep their face clean. But soap and water isn't necessarily the best thing to be using. So that's another thing that you got to look at, is what is the soap that is being applied to the face? Is it something that's drying your skin out, and then you're getting more oils in your pores? Is it containing chemicals that your body doesn't like? And so maybe that's another reason why your face is breaking out, because typically it's just the face, right? It's not the entire body. But if it is the entire body, then definitely diet. So when you go to a dermatologist, the number one thing that they're going to do for you is put you on antibiotics. What do antibiotics do to our digestive system? It creates another problem, because it gets rid of all the good flora in our digestive system. And so then we have the possibility, and a high possibility, of overgrowth of candida. So like in women, when we take too much antibiotics, a lot of times as women we'll get a yeast infection, okay? So that yeast infection is a overgrowth of the candida or the bad flora that's been disrupted in our digestive system. So it's really, really important to start thinking about what we're putting in our mouth and putting in our stomachs. Now, doTERRA has a whole line of different products for the skin. We have the Barrage skincare system, which is for us older women. Then you've got the invigorating scrub, which is the it's got your facial wash and your invigorating scrub. It's got your facial cleanser and lotions and all that. But that's for skin that's kind of like in between. Then you have the HD Clear skin system, which is for our breakouts, our teenage years, for those of us that just have those occasional breakouts, like especially around our cycle time of the month. So there's three things you can do. First off is, what are you washing your face with? So HD Clear, I don't know if you can see this, I know it's a white label, so it's really hard to see, but this is the HD Clear Foaming Face Wash. And what you want to do, it's really nice because it will actually, put some on here, have to pump it. It comes out in the foam, okay? It's very nice, and it actually kind of like a lotion. That's what it does, okay? It'll soak into the skin, but what happens is when you wipe this off, when you wash this off, it leaves the skin balanced. And by balancing the skin out, not drying your skin out, you have a better possibility of having less breakout, because it's not just irritating and drying the skin. It's a complete balance to your system. And so then what we're doing is we're going to wash our face first. So it's a 3-part system. Wash your face. And I've actually had people that were, one in particular who, their daughter, same thing, they tried everything, and they were actually at the point where they were tired of trying everything. And I totally asked them to try this. Now that's really hard when you've been trying everything and nothing works, right? And so what I did is I said, let me just give it to you, you try it for a few days and see what difference it makes. And it did make a difference. So knowing that we have something that's very formulated for our skin, and it has the melaleuca, which is antibacterial, you have eucalyptus, you have geranium, you have litsea. And litsea is one that's we just got individually that comes from New Zealand. And so those are very well, it promotes that healthy overall skin health, especially when you start putting in that white willow bark that's in there. It's nourishing the skin, not just drying out the skin. You can use that twice a day, because you'd want to do this twice a day. First thing in the morning when you get up, and then last thing at night, because after you've had you've been exposed to toxins all day long, what have you been doing? Those are things that you need to be thinking of. And it actually has a very nice fragrance. It's not overpowering at all. And then what you would do is follow up with HD Clear lotion. Okay, so the lotion, again, is formulated to balance out the face. Okay, it's not greasy at all. It's moisturizing the skin, so it absorbs very quickly, and it's helping the face to be blemish free all day long. And so again, it's made with botanical extracts, those essential oils. It contains the melaleuca, the eucalyptus, the geranium, powood, and litsea. So there again, it's the same thing as this, but in a different formulation, right? It's a very refreshing scent. It's very light scent. It's very not overpowering at all. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you probably smell the melaleuca, but really it's a combination. And it's really interesting to me that when somebody smells something that's a blend, there's going to be one essential oil that they're really going to notice, which is interesting to me. So that tells me that the body is interested in that one particular fragrance of that one particular essential oil. I know, it's amazing how we pick up on that. I can walk into some place and they're going, wait, I can smell something, and I'm like, oh, I smell the patchouli, and it's like, well, I have a blend on that is got patchouli in it, but I don't really smell it, but they do. They totally picked it out, right? And so that's a really amazing part of our smell and our body, how we can pick up on something like that. Okay, so again, it's very nourishing to the skin. You would want to apply this after you have used your face wash, and you don't want to go all over like this. What you want to do is stroke upward, okay? From the neck up. Never go down, go up. Why is that? Well, going down kind of pulls, you want to pull it up. Not down, you want to pull everything up, okay? I know it's the same thing with the eye. Most people, when they put stuff under the eye, they want to go out here like this, but no, actually you want to go inward, not outward. It's the way the skin, it's not, so you don't stretch the skin, okay? All right, so those two things, and then the next thing is the HD Clear. This is a roller blend with the same stuff, and so it has a roller top to it. And so if you have a breakout, one or two here and there, then this is a product that you can actually put on those breakouts. So it actually will tone it down faster and get rid of it faster. And that's a huge thing, especially because have you ever woke up and you're like, oh my gosh, where'd that pimple come from? And you're going to go somewhere, right? This is a really good product to put on that one little breakout, and it will dry it up a lot faster because of the melaleuca, all the things. It's so totally antibacterial, and so it's going to get rid of why the body is creating that pimple, right? It's because it's the inflammation that's going on in the pores. And this is already blended with some fractionated coconut oil, so you don't have to worry about that. And so it's really a nice blend for us to have and hang around. And then same thing here. I've had people come to me and ask, what do you have for this type of problem? And I refer to this particular product, and they're like amazed at how quickly it works, especially if you have young boys that are going through that process, and they are, you know, it's unfortunately, kids can be super, super bad or for each other or really hard on each other, and they tease the heck out of people. And so if there's something that we can do to reduce what their facial is, then especially when it comes to breakouts, that is something that's going to help build their esteem and not be so frightened, I guess is a good word to use. So if you are and know of someone that has those breakouts and would like to have something that's inconspicuous, you don't have to take an antibiotic. Now, if you're going to a dermatologist you have to be the one to decide what you want to do. If they ask you to go on an antibiotic and that's something that you decide to do, then that is your choice. These are choices, and these are not we're not curing or diagnosing anything, and we're definitely not treating. We're not treating, curing, or anything. What this is are choices of what the traditional way would be, that if you are not interested in the chemicals that are, or the problems with medications, then this is a lifestyle choice. And pretty much every time that I know of, these products have been super helpful and super useful. And I've always had positive feedback from all of these products. And I really like that about what we have with doTERRA, because I don't know of any adverse problems from anybody. The most I would ever hear about, or do hear about, is sensitivity to the skin. That's anything and everything. Well, there's reasons why, there's different reasons why we can be sensitive to an essential oil on our skin, because every body is different. You might have thin skin, you might be older, you might have a lot of toxins going on, and so it brings out the toxins. Remember, the chimney, the skin is the chimney. And so by placing an essential oil on your skin, and if you break out, it's not an allergy reaction, it's a sensitivity of the skin. So you really have to dig deeper and decide whether or not that's something that is you want to work through, or let's do it in another way. Let's help clean up the gut so that maybe we won't have those breakouts all the time. If it's hormonal, then there's things for hormonal balancing as well. We have a product called Claricalm. doTERRA has a product called Whisper. And we also have a polyphenol, it's an estrogenic, which is to help balance those hormones out. So if you're unbalanced, there's a lot of things that can happen. One of those, especially for our children, our young ladies that are just getting into that change of life, then those hormones are totally out of balance, and we never really look at that. And we really need to focus and look at that if we have a child that's getting into those teenage years and all of a sudden their demeanor changes, or they're just wishy-washy, or they're just maybe they have you're experiencing more of a they don't want to do anything for you. They're just not their normal self. We have to really look at that and think about it, because a lot of us don't. We think of waiting until they start those cycles and then we do something, but really it's prior to that. Really watch what their emotions are like, and can we keep those in check? Yes, we can. We have products that can do that, that can help with that. And so again, think about the hormones, think about the diet, think about all these things that you incorporate every day that could be a factor in why the skin has a lot of breakouts. So these products are amazing to me, and I really enjoy that every single day. I always use an essential oil for something outside of my routine. My daily routine is one thing, but when I start getting out of, and I'm like, okay, so the other day, horse stepped on my foot. I'm trimming her foot, and she falls, and she plops her foot right down on top of mine. I'm like, and I don't have small horses. I have really big horses. And so that wasn't fun, because she didn't take her weight off my foot. She put more weight on my foot. It's like, dadgummit. So I'm like, all right, normally, it's not like it's never happened before, and it's probably going to happen again as long as I have horses. And it's like, okay, so what do I do for that, right? It's like, I have essential oils, and I know what to do, because I've done my research, I do my homework, and I'm constantly looking into what I can do, what each essential oil can offer. So I applied a blend, AromaTouch blend. I applied helichrysum, and I applied Deep Blue Rub on top of that. And I barely had any swelling. I never had a bruise. You could barely tell that she even stepped on my foot, and the most of the weight was right at the base of my big toe and the one next to that. So that's a very sensitive area. I could bend it, no problem. And then of course, and then yesterday, I put my hand in the right place at the wrong time. Or is it the wrong time at the right place? But I got stung. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a little red dot. And I was like, that's not cool, because I am one of those that have to be very careful, because I have had an allergy reaction. I've actually had a leg that was like the bullseye, red in the middle and then purple on the outside. And so I try to be very cautious. Not that I'm afraid of them, but I'm like, what do you do, right? Because it was hurting. So I'm like, okay, I just walked up to the house, and I have a product called Correct X, and it's an ointment, like an antibiotic ointment, but it's all natural. And I totally applied that, because since it's an ointment, it's easy to apply. It has all the oils like frankincense and lavender. Lavender is great for a lot of like bee stings and such, or bug bites. And I'll be, lo and behold, I never swelled, it never itched, and that's the result. And it's like, I liked that. So it's knowing and having things on hand and knowing what to do with them, because every single day something's going to pop up in your life to where you're going to need them. And especially if you have young kids, animals, I mean, it's a constant thing. I even use all this stuff on my chickens, and I love the Correct X. It's been used for burns. It's been used for my chickens or their feet. It's been used for my horse. I've used it on my horses for hoof problems. It's an all around, just a great thing to have. And it's a great $12 investment. So think about what you have in your tool belt at home, what you can do. Today was just more about what you can do with the face in particular, and think about what's going on the inside, not just what's going on the outside. Because if you change things around and you're eating more fruits and vegetables, then sometimes that creates a better environment, and you're going to help clear up your skin. Okay. So I hope you get some value out of this. And for those of you that don't have horses and chickens and all that other stuff, be careful what you do and where you put your feet and your hands. And it's all, I got stung because I did not notice that there was a yellow jacket on the truck, and I just placed my hand there, and it was like, that's all she wrote. It was instant. I was like, dang it. Anyway, so you guys have a great week. Thank you for joining me, and for those that are going to watch the replay, thank you for watching the replay. And next week we're going to talk about dental, because I have not done that for a long time. And next Monday morning I will be in Troutdale, Oregon for a training. And so I might need to record this and then send it out first, but I'll do my best to get on, and we'll talk about some dental issues and what you can do for that. Being as I'm coming from the dental world, I want you to know what I would recommend or suggest for your overall health in your mouth. So we'll see you next week at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and you guys have a wonderful week, and see you later. Thank you.